Everyone to another edition of the Wrestling Underground podcast. We bring you all the wrestling news and opinions from a different side of the perspective line. I'm your host, as always, Chet. What up? Joining me is the glorious one himself, Marcus Green. Marcus, how the hell are you?
Good, man. Coming to you on a Monday. As we told you, switching things up, but for the better, getting these things out a little bit faster,
Just another manic Monday. Oh, wish it was Sunday. I always hated Sundays. I don't know if I was the only kid growing up who despised Sunday. It felt like the day was taunting me with the return to school and whatnot. Like, sucks to be you. Everything afternoon is downhill from here, kid. Because Sunday still had some cartoons. It's like, that was chill. I think Men in Black aired on Sundays. Because they load up the weekends back in the day. I miss those days. Those were good days. They were always interesting. So we're here to talk about some interesting things, or not so interesting things. We got NXT whatnot to get to. On top of that, Adam Cole Bay being given a 7-figure contract seems a little ridiculous for a guy with no charisma whatsoever. And then, of course, we're going to talk some NWA Empowerrr. After that, we're going to hop into Making an Impact because we record 3 shows in one sitting. If you're listening to us live, you're going to hit all 3. If you're listening to us on YouTube, you got to wait until the other shows are up. Or in the case of Making an Impact, it's already up because it'll be up before this show because that show is going to be up Monday night and the other show is going to be up Tuesday morning. So, huzzah. Technically, I might be both up Tuesday morning. It depends on the time. But get off my back, people. I'm doing the best I can. We're talking NXT, though. Major changes coming, Mark. It seems like NXT is being sent down to the minor leagues again. So apparently, new look, new everything is coming NXT's way. And the focus is on younger, bigger talent. And according to Dave Meltzer, who got a direct quote, no more vanilla midgets, which is offensive because some of those midgets are black and Hispanic. But plain Jane all the way they be, because that's one of the biggest gripes about modern WWE that you and I have talked about before ad nauseum. The wrestlers are boring as shit.
Yeah, a lot of them look alike, too.
Yeah. And it doesn't even matter what race they are. They just happen to all look alike. If they all look like stock models of a video game with the pigmentation meter in one direction or another. They all have the same haircuts. They all have the same, general tights. They all have the same kick pads and whatnot. They all throw super kicks and they all do flip-a-doos. Why isn't anyone watching NXT anymore? I wonder. Could it be that they're all boring as sin? I'm trying not to swear anymore. I'm trying to get away from that. Trying. It's a process that I'm consciously trying to do. But that's the biggest issue. And it's not just like on NXT. Like we mentioned this about the main roster. A lot of those guys are interesting. And we've talked about it before. And it's even more abundantly clear that one of the reasons why Bray Wyatt was such a success in the company wasn't because he was a good worker. He was far from it. He's a very bad worker. It was that he was charismatic in a time period when not a lot of people were. And they're able to get away with that these days. And either even compound the issue even further to bring in Alexa Bliss. I don't think Alexa Bliss really ever had a gimmick before she got the new Fiend-like character. But she was always very likable or very enjoyable because she had a certain aura about her. So even though her gimmick was always just cosplay girl, people at least liked it. She had a certain je ne sais quoi about her. But that doesn't mean she had a gimmick or a character. And that's kind of been an issue with a lot of WWE. Like, who are these characters? Who's Drew McIntyre? I'm Scottish. I'm the Scottish one. Now I'm just quoting Power Rangers. Like Roman Reigns, a guy who, fine in the ring, not bad, not great. You're not going to get a lot of great matches out of Roman Reigns. I think people need to understand that. That's not his bag. But Reigns has a character. He has a gimmick. He has an actual presence about him that brings people in. They're trying to do the same thing with Lashley, but I don't know. He's got like no neck. I have no neck, so like I feel that pain. So every time I see him in a suit mark, I'm just like, oh look, it's a turtle. turtle. And I look the same way in a suit. It's like I'm not sitting here thinking I'm better than him. I'm just saying, like guys like me and Lashley with the big shoulders, like and the big traps. Granted, his trap is bigger than mine. Like and the moderate to no neck. Like we don't wear suits. It makes us look bad. And I don't think they're doing Lashley any favors. But like, there's a lot of just generic Stark archetypes with this company, and it's kind of sad that we're still here. But I digress, because this isn't about the lack of talent or characters or mic working. It's about NXT. Marcus, NXT's getting set down in the minors. USA Network's not happy about it. What do you make of it? Do you think that the focus on younger, less name value guys is the right way to go for the future of the brand?
Yeah, it's we talked about this, before in several different facets. NXT is a developmental brand.
Mm-hmm.
It was working as a developmental brand, and when it was at its best was when it was on the network at an hour, giving you what you wanted to see, but giving you something to look forward to as well. It got to the point where, because they were doing so well in terms of outmatching the main roster, which wasn't hard when you look at the booking, when you had all those takeovers, getting ahead of those main roster pay-per-views, it started to become its own thing because people saw how simplicity was far better than constantly trying to fix a bunch of stuff that's now broken. Then, and we also had this conversation, it got to the point where, because that momentum was building, obviously you want to maybe expand. But of course, along with that expansion came, I guess, Triple H just kind of picked up what Vince did, to get the company big in the first place, was he started pillaging the indies.
Mm-hmm.
And bringing in names that ended up quickly surpassing a lot of guys who had been down there, unfortunately, for years, like a Sami Zayn. We got games that love the guys, but names like Nakamura, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, guys from the Undisputed Era, a lot of other people. They came in and kind of usurped a lot of guys. They helped NXT, but it was getting to the point, we talked about this, where the brand was specifically a bunch of guys who was already popular on the indies. And we were talking about, like, when was legitimately the last time, aside from maybe what a Sasha Banks, Four Horsewomen, can't say Sami Zayn, but he was El Generico.
Can't even say Sasha Banks. She was, what was it, Mercedes something Steel or something like that? Now, she wasn't a big name, but, she got her work started, I think, in ECWA out in Massachusetts.
Yeah. I guess maybe you can say, because I'm having to go to NXT Champions, a Bo Dallas, a Big E. Maybe some other, I guess you could use Reigns.
Yeah.
But it did get to the point where it's like they're not really using that brand for what it was used for, which is developing homegrown stars. And now that they basically trying to make NXT into what the main roster was doing, for whatever final reason, I'm guessing Vince started paying attention to it and put his crap on it, because adding another hour, putting it on the USA Network, and then just having it feel like it was trying to have main roster elements, which it never needed. It's been killing the brand slowly but surely. Again, not a lot of building of the names, and with just anytime Vince gets his hand on something, he breaks it. I was talking to the guys at the True Penny Show. I said he's like Sid from Toy Story.
Yeah.
He's freaking Sid from Toy Story. He just doesn't know when to stop, and all he cares about is pleasing himself with his own maniacal imagination. So you say you don't want no vanilla midgets, but they've been carrying your brand for the last however many years.
Mm-hmm.
regardless of whether it was the right narrative for the brand's original point of existence in the first place, those guys like Gargano, Adam Cole, a lot of other guys, Finn, a lot of other guys. Obviously, I think O'Reilly, now Bobby Fish is done, Roderick Strong. Those guys don't even get in the company based off this mandate. A lot of the guys, and somebody was talking about this, like a lot of the guys that we grew up on that are legends now don't even get in the company off that mandate. We don't see a Dean Malenko, a Benoit.
No Eddie.
Other guys. Yeah, hell, maybe not even Mysterio, who's a generational talent.
Yeah. But see, I don't see that as a problem anymore. Mostly because the WWE themselves is a dead brand in terms of making stars.
Yeah.
Like, to be, as honest as possible, if we define a star as anyone who ascends to the John Cena level, they have not made one since John Cena. Dave Bautista left the company as that second tier under Cena, and on his own merit became that name.
Yeah.
So the company themselves isn't doing it anymore. So why does the WWE still have this idea that they're still what they were 15 years ago? Because they're not. We all know it. The problem is a lot of people are going to be very much on the bandwagon of, they're too big to fail. They're the biggest name. They'll always be the biggest name. But they weren't always the biggest name, and they haven't always been the biggest name, and they're not always going to be the biggest name because all empires fall. It is part of human history. So the WWE is really in a place where I think all of this goodwill and financial windfalls will come to an end eventually. And I think you're going to end up seeing it with the next round of TV contracts because the ratings are terrible. And I don't see why USA would be like, we're going to keep forking over, $500 million, $600 million for a terrible product. Are you out of your mind?
Yes. It also going back to that quick narrative about the no more vanilla midgets and whatever else got said. You say that, but then you drop somebody like Bronson Reed.
Yeah, and that's a great segue. Let's get into that because the next big piece of information from this weekend was another round of releases, and we're not done. I for 1 second do not believe that we're not going to get another few names in the next 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. I don't know if the WWE is trying to cut costs as dramatically as they are to sell themselves to somebody, which makes all the sense in the world to me. Why else do all this? But I fully expect to see more talent get let go from NXT. And I think it's going to be a lot of the older talent because a lot of the guys they've been signing over the last, however many years have always been on the other side of 30. Everyone in the Undisputed Era besides Cole and O'Reilly were well into their mid to late 30s. I think Roderick Strong's 40, if not close to. And it just kind of baffles my mind that they signed all these talents, launched all these new shows, 205 Live, NXT, NXT UK, and they're all dead brands. Pete Dunne's about to leave. Adam Cole's allegedly thinking about leaving. Daniel Bryan left. And I think the craziest thing of all is think about it. They just brought back Samoa Joe. Is he on the block? I bet he is. Drake Maverick wouldn't be surprised. I heard a rumor that Drake Maverick has already been designated for assignment, so to speak. That's a baseball term. I don't know if it's true, but we'll find out soon enough. But here's who got released this week, and Bronson Reed, as you already mentioned. I have not watched enough NXT to really know if he's anything worth having, but a lot of people speak very highly of him, so that's not a bad thing. Bobby Fish, who's probably 43 by now, if not older. So that wasn't unexpected. Plus, I'm pretty sure he's buddies with Drake Wirtz. He's 44. So Bobby Fish getting released makes all the sense in the world. Leon Ruff is gone. Tyler Rust, who I think Austin Hale just got signed 2 or 3 weeks ago. Jake Atlas, Mercedes Martinez, which that one hurts, but I'm also glad because she deserves to be in a company that actually wants her because she's fantastic. Giant Zinjir, Zachariah Smith, I don't even know who half these people are. My favorite wrestler of all time, Kona Reeves. That fucking
Yeah,
goofy smile.
I did a moment of silence for you. I saw that. I'm like, God. By the way, do you know how long he's lasted?
He's been around for a while, like 6 or 7 years.
He's outlasted guys on the main roster, so I got to give him credibility for that. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that people probably forgot he was goddamn there. But...
Whenever the cuts happened, he just stood behind Bronson Reed. And then they finally cut Bronson Reed, and then they saw Kona, and they're like, Kona, thought we fired you a couple years ago. And he's like, all right, I'll just get my stuff. Ari Sterling and Stephen Smith, who was a referee. This wasn't as big of a name situation as we saw in the last few outings, but, you know, Bronson Reed's a highly sought-after guy right now, and Austin Hill's going to be someone that people are clamoring for. I don't know what's going to happen with all these talents, but with hopefully places getting back to normal, if they're doing smart things and taking precautions and making sure that people aren't dying, we can get back to normal. But, you know, if the indie scene comes back, I think these guys will be okay. And I think it will, mostly because there's such a demand for all forms of, like, in-person entertainment at the moment that I think the indie scene can relaunch itself with great success. So I have strong hopes for this. Some people want to see Bronson Reed in New Japan. Bobby Fish may end up, I don't even know where Bobby Fish is going to end up, running with Drake Wirtz in Florida politics, maybe? I don't know. Jake Atlas could be an interesting name in Impact. I'm sure he's going to get a lot of offers. But, you know, looking at this, Marcus, anyone stand out to you besides Bronson Reed that you're like, I can't believe they let him
go? Besides Reed, probably it was surprising Fish because I thought maybe the Undisputed Era guys were more relatively safe than the other guys that's on this list. That, I mean, it does feel like a lot of these guys just got saw on the list of names. Like, they still here? Like, because how did we see these guys and who's watching 205 Live? I've not watched 205 Live since Neville was the king of the cruiserweights.
I don't even think 205 Live still does shows, do they?
Yeah. I think some of these guys had matches coming up on the show.
What a shit show of a company. Honestly.
Yeah, so, you know, I think a lot because, again, like you said, you don't even know who half these guys are, and if they weren't wrestling on those other shows, Main Event or 205 or whatever, they were, like, again, another point that we talked about, probably a pack of that horde that's in that performance center. Because they got a whole slew of guys waiting to get to the NXT roster. Screw the main roster. They waiting to get on NXT. And if a lot of those guys are vanilla midgets, Jesus, this bus flip is about to be serious.
Yeah, it's not going to be a good thing. Who do you think's going to get released? I got money on Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong being next up.
I was gonna put Strong in there.
How old is Roderick Strong? Roderick Strong is 38. And he's been wrestling for 21 years. So yeah.
I'd hate to see it, but he started because he came in, was trying to build momentum. I think he found something with a more heelish or aggressive gimmick. And then they just it got bad, but he's been my guy since New Japan. I could see Kushida.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I could see Gargano. Talk about a dude who has no personality. His entire personality is that he cosplays sometimes.
Jesus.
Hey, look at my Wolverine. Oh, fuck off. Oh, he's such a good worker. Everyone's a good worker in 2021.
Oh, my God.
That's like saying pizza's made of cheese. No shit. Yeah, you're going to have your outliers that don't have cheese on them, but then again, you're also going to have your outliers that don't have good workers.
Look, we understand what these guys' talent levels are, but guys like and normally me and Chad don't speak for each other, but this is just me going off what we've already expressed. Guys like Cole and Gargano and Ciampa don't click for us.
Nope.
It has nothing to saying they marginal talent or scrubs or what have you, or we don't use the term vanilla midget here, but they just don't click with us, and that's basically what carried NXT for the last 2 going on 3 years.
Personality-wise, they don't click with us. Personality-wise, they are scrubs. Personality-wise, they do suck. Like, I'm not trying to be facetious or argumentative. I'm trying to say definitively, I've watched Roderick Strong since 2004. I can't name one promo he's ever cut because they're all so forgettable. Adam Cole has one hook. Baby. And it's not even catchy. It's dumb. He's balding Shawn Michaels, or just Shawn Michaels. That Widow's Peak is fierce. I'll tell you what. Kyle O'Reilly is a good idea, poorly executed. Ciampa was so bad, Ring of Honor didn't even want him. Same with Donovan Dijakovic. Like, that's the thing that always baffled me. NXT wanted these guys, but no one else did. Like, everyone's like, you know what? We're good. Have them. But I know you liked Dijakovic for a few months when he was shooting with Keith Lee.
Yeah, it was good because it came off like a kaiju battle. I've always that's really what intrigued me about it. And I can appreciate a big guy who does what he does, but he also had that cage thing where it's like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you have to.
But again, Dijakovic had no gimmick. You know, Punishment Martinez, when he came to NXT, had no gimmick. Now, apparently he has one. I'm told. I don't watch Raw. I value my brain cells. But it's one of those things where it's like all these guys that have been brought in are famously uncharismatic. So, of course, they're going to be on the chopping block. And I want to be very clear. This isn't a new sentiment for me. I hated the Gargano-Ciampa tag team. Their feud bored me to tears, but they had such good matches. Everyone has good matches. It is not a statement anymore. It's like saying, oh, that pop star had a #1 hit. That's kind of the job they're supposed to have. Oh, my goodness. I do not care about their good matches. Give me Danhausen doing an interview with Chris Jericho where he talks about bringing down the Wallhausens. That shit's hilarious. I eat that up nowadays because it's an actual personality in wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't care about Roosh trying to be a Mexican Ric Flair. Oh, cool, you're wearing a suit. I don't care.
Yeah. Give me Rosemary all the time.
Right? Like, give me actual characters. Like, when you have like an abundance of characters, you can have a Kyle O'Reilly. You can have a Davey Richards or an Eddie Edwards or an Adam Cole. But when you have an entire roster of the guys going, I'm serious and I'm a good athlete and I put on good matches, I'm going to sit here and go, Modern Family has a rerun on 4 channels at once? Okay. I'm going to try to watch all 4.
Now think about it. To your point with everything you said about those guys, those 4 guys you just listed off who are Ring of Honor OGs in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You always say enhance the strengths, cover up the weaknesses. So that's the old adage, Paul Heyman thing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when you have that scenario? It's like, if we put them together, and make, like you said, one of them guy has a thing, and it's baby. You make him the leader. Because we're looking at this now that the group is no longer there, look what's happening. Imagine if they never would have been a group.
Undisputed Era is one of the weakest gimmicks of all time. Because you can't tell me with a straight face this 4 Horsemen wannabe angle ever had a single promo moment or highlight that wasn't some way in form of a 4 Horsemen retread, or ever lived up to the, almost auspicious nature of trying to surpass the 4 Horsemen in their own game. They were 4 workers who could talk. The Undisputed Era were 4 workers who spoke words. But you can name a dozen Flair promos during his 4 Horsemen era. All those dudes, with the exception of maybe Barry Windham and Lex Luger and Paul Roma. No disrespect to Paul Roma. were all great promo guys. Ole and Arn Anderson, holy shit. Tully Blanchard, you kidding me? Ric Flair, Kurt Hennig, even Benoit to an extent. Not Malenko, though. I love Malenko the most, but not Malenko. I'm not going to lie about that. Mongo was entertaining on the mic. Granted, it was the only place he was entertaining. But like when you think about that, you think about all these dudes in the history of the Four Horsemen, they were mostly all charismatic. The Undisputed Era, well, they knew how to suck charisma out of the arena, but like, you know. But this is the problem when you have people who just try to direct the narrative. Like you watch all these YouTube shows or podcasts, and they all have the same regurgitated diatribe of, well, they're such good workers. I can't wait for them to have a work match. Oh, my God, did you see that 64-minute match on NXT where they had 28 kickouts and no finisher ever worked, and then they won with a clothesline from behind that was actually just 2 fingers across the face? It was amazing. Why would you waste that much time in your life watching a match that you've seen 1,000 times before? It's cookie cutter. It's like sitting down with a bag of Oreos, Marcus, and then getting to like the 12th Oreo and going, man, that Oreo was the best Oreo I ever had. Really? They're all made the same way. They're literally all the same Oreo. Looking at an NXT match and going, oh, well, that NXT TakeOver match was the best one ever. No, it's not. It's a formula. They're formulaic. Like you bought into it. I'm sorry.
It was another Oreo. No, but this time.
Dude, no, this Oreo was real good. Like they put the cookie, the cream, and then the cookie. They've never done that before.
They stacked it with 4 double whites.
Oh, see, now that's just problematic, man. Like, the best part of the Oreo is the goddamn cookie, not the cream. I said it. Fight me. No one dunks their Oreo in milk for the cream. You know I'm right.
With those whites, man, those whites are those near falls. And those near falls are what make the match. Those 32 damn, those 32. I'll be damned.
Right? And, like, that's the thing that, like, oh, we got to slap the thigh. Slap the thigh, slap. Like, I've seen real fights. I've listened to people get kicked in the face for realsies. I've both been kicked and kicked others in the face for real. That doesn't sound like being kicked. You can slap it until you're blue in the face, man. It just makes me think you're about to do an adult scene. Like, I don't believe that you're actually kicking them.
You hit a Canadian Destroyer off the top rope. The guy's head hits the thing. He hits a backflip damn near halfway across the other side of the ring. You crawl to the cover. He kicks out.
At 1. And then he wins the match with a vertical suplex.
What are you going to do after that? That's going to make that Ring of Honor it to hell. Because that's a Ring of Honor. That's very much a thing that they're known for.
It's so dumb.
But after that one kick out, this is a 5-star classic.
Exactly.
But again, you teach people how to treat you, and they train that audience that's their equivalent of a G1 match.
And I don't care about any of the people in the match because their personalities are so... I don't understand 2/3 of what New Japan or All Japan or Pro Wrestling Noah is saying. But I know their characters just by their mannerisms because they actually put time and effort into it. I know Taichi's just some big melodramatic dumbass because he comes out like a big melodramatic dumbass. I know Minoru Suzuki's attempting to slap God in the face on a perpetual basis because he looks like it. I still don't know what Bobby Fish's gimmick was. I still don't know what they tried to do with Andrade. I don't know what they're doing with fucking little Dominic. And I say a little ironically.
Like, look, I can watch Ishii versus Suzuki without sound or color.
Well, that's because Ishii smacked the color out of your face and your eyes. That's what I was trying to go for, is that he made you go colorblind.
Fair.
Because Ishii hates color. Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm trying to be respectful to my co-host, and I'm trying not to say anything that would be problematic. Ishii looks at flags and goes, it would be a lot better if it was devoid of any color. Gray is Ishii's favorite color is what I'm trying to say. I don't want to be problematic. Like, you say something knowing in your mind that it's not offensive, and then you say it, and you're like, oh wait, that could be taken a different way. But Ishii does not own a color TV. He owns a black and white TV. That's what I'm getting at. Because he slaps the color out of everything he sees. Red car, bam. Gray car. That's Ishii. Okay, now that I made my point abundantly clear. Sometimes you step on it. Sometimes you do. You don't mean to, but sometimes you do.
But getting back, I guess, to the guy that was the head of that, Mr. Bebe.
Yeah. To talk about fucking devoid of color.
He might be the last one standing of the four.
He's fucking translucent right there. Just devoid of. If you were to put Adam Cole on color commentary, they would just call it translucent commentary, because he provides nothing. And his girlfriend is just as bad as he is. I don't know why people think Britt Baker's a good promo. I don't like being the guy who goes after people personally. Although Adam Cole's he's just on a different level with me. But like, I don't have anything wrong with Britt Baker. But don't tell me Britt Baker's a good promo, because if you do, I'm going to assume you never heard of a good promo. It's like watching, I don't know, Captain America, the first Avenger, and going, that was the greatest film I've ever seen. That, to me, says one of two things. One, you've never ever seen another movie before in your life. Or you have no standard of quality, because they're better movies. Now, you can like it. Guaranteed. But even in the Captain America franchise, universally viewed, it's not even the best of the three. Now, you can like it, but don't tell me it's the best. And if you think Britt Baker's a good promo, to quote the Misfits, I got something to say. It's not good. It's not good at all. Marcus, I don't know what they're going to do with this brand. I bet you Triple H and Shawn Michaels are crying into their millions of dollars, just patting their eyes with $500,000 bills as their baby gets dismantled.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong about it either. Clearly, they're getting paid. But I also think you're 100% right about them crying, specifically if they have had nothing to do with these decisions.
And that's the story, that they don't have anything to do with these decisions, but they are in on the meetings. And they did bring back Samoa Joe, so I don't know. I don't know if they're capitulating. I don't know if they see the bigger picture. I don't know if they're picking their battles or what. Or maybe Triple H might be on the way out. Like, think about it. If you're Triple H and Stephanie, and you are aware that your father's about to sell the company. Again, that's hyperbole. We don't know that they're actually going to try to sell the company. But assuming that's the case, why would you fight? If you know you're never going to get to take over the company, as everyone assumed, I'd be halfway out the door too. Shane already has a new job. He's the leader of some other thing that people do for things. You can tell I'm highly invested in what happened with Shane McMahon. I have all the details on his life.
Or has he had his love of fighting for the brand beaten out of him by all these wacky ones? Like, how many times have he had to sit back and watch and build up somebody like Asuka in NXT just to see her go to the main roster and have an undefeated streak as a champion and barely be on any shows?
Yeah.
Only to run into the wall that is Charlotte.
You're not wrong. And like, the funny thing is like, everyone wants to praise Triple H for his mastery of booking people, but it's not. And that's the sad thing. There's nothing wrong with the way Triple H has booked NXT. You know, he doesn't have a lot of strong promos, and I think William Regal is probably their best promo guy over the years. I maybe Velveteen Dream, but I wasn't watching NXT when he was there, so I really can't say. But like, he's just doing basic pro wrestling booking. The same stuff he did in NXT, Impact is doing. New Japan does. Like, it's not hard to go, this person has charisma, we're going to make them go undefeated and then bring them up against someone big, hoping to springboard them to a higher rate. Or not a higher rate, but like a higher platform. So that's not like the most intelligent, or it's not the most, groundbreaking thing I've ever seen. He's just willing to commit to it, which Vince never does. So, like, by proxy in comparison, yeah, it looks fantastic what he's doing. But it's like buying a Pizza Hut pizza. They ain't breaking the box. They ain't breaking the mold. Like, it's fine. No one's going to spit a Pizza Hut pizza out. It's not cardboard dust like Papa John's. But no one's going to sit here and go, it's the best pizza I've ever had. It's the best pizza you can have without looking for something. But that's about it. That's Triple H's booking.
But there's a piece of that pizza that's been in the forefront of the pizza place for going on the last few years, worth $1 million.
That's a good question. Good segue, Marcus. You got the segues tonight.
Learn from the best.
Aw. I didn't know you were hanging out with Don West. How's he doing? Because Don West, he hell of a voice, that man. I'm hoping for the best for that man. Kenny Omega. Why am I have a photo of Kenny Omega and Adam Page, and I just said Kenny Omega. Adam Page is reportedly offered a $1 million. Marcus, you gotta do the finger. $1 million contract.
How old a Page?
Adam. They're the same person, Marcus. I don't know. They're both white dudes with beards and long hair. You pick. I don't know. I'm just being all sorts of racist tonight.
You're talking about Mr. Baby, where it's refreshing.
yeah, I took the mantle from you.
I think you're talking about Mr. Baby because apparently WWE pulled the Impact Circle whenever that was when Bobby Roode was coming to a pay-per-view as the champion. Like, oh shoot, his contract lapsed, everybody.
Oh, what was that? Lockdown 2014? Lockdown. Yeah, I think it was. Lockdown 2014. Their biggest attended show at the time. Like, oh my goodness. So Adam Cole, I think, is that the right vanilla midget? I don't even know. How tall is Paige? Like 6'1", maybe?
Maybe 6'1". I know Cole isn't.
No, I would say Cole's at best 5'10". Granted, he's still got 4 inches on us. If somebody calls us vanilla midgets, you can get mad at being called a midget, and I can get mad for being called vanilla. Or we can flip it and be really indignant. We'll be like Sean and Gus the one time they went to a nightclub, and because Gus is black, they thought he was tan, and because Gus is white, they thought he was... No. They thought Sean was tan and Gus was black. But it was actually Sean who was black and Gus that was tan. And Sean goes to the bouncer, man, can't believe we made that mistake. we can be like that. Anyway, so Cole offered a $1 million contract, but here's the problem. The source who reported it is fucking garbage. He's a Big Brother UK failure turned male porn star, turned someone who got into confrontations with what's the dude who does all the podcasts with like Flair and Jared and Bruce Pritchard. What's his name? Conrad Twitty. No, I think that's a country star. Conrad Thompson. Is that right? Yeah. Am I right?
Yeah, it's definitely Conrad something.
Well, Conrad and the alleged source of the Adam Cole information many years ago got into a confrontation where basically Conrad told him that, you're a what was it, the term? Not like a pariah, but a scam artist. So don't believe anything he says. I haven't seen Dave Meltzer or anyone else report that Adam Cole was offered a $1 million contract to stay in NXT or WWE. Now, the thing is, those contracts do exist, and they're getting fired for having them. Bray Wyatt had a well over $1 million a year contract. He got fired because of it. John Cena's probably not sticking around as long as people will think he's going to because of the size of his contract.
Man, John Cena is getting this type of momentum that he's been waiting for the longest in acting. He's not finna give that up.
No, God,
to be playing human body hockey with Roman Reigns for God knows how long.
Although, if they bring back the remember the colored lighting they used to do like with Sin Cara and like the Inferno matches and all that nonsense?
Yeah.
Well, if they bring back that colored lighting, they can go and find that black dude that looks just like John Cena and just have him parade around and be like, it's John Cena. Don't have him talk, though.
My God, he turned heel.
Jim, just because he's black doesn't mean he's a heel. Just say John had a really bad tanning accident.
Oh, my God.
And then take him off TV after Survivor Series and say that he's dealing with a melanoma due to how bad he was tanned. But he's okay.
Which,
but then bring him back when he's got more time.
But you're not wrong about that. Like the two guys that again, we have to watch it. We're not huge fan of. The Good Brothers were royally screwed. Yeah. And they probably got bargained with that type of money to re-sign. Only to get...
Now, I don't think they're giving those two dudes $1 million. Because I don't even know if AJ Styles is around that much. But they probably got close to like 750, I would say, a year. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. But they're not moving needles. I wouldn't give the Good Brothers half of that. Then again, I think they're kind of repugnant. So, like, I don't know. Maybe that's my own bias. Wait, you're going to work for a hot dog and a beer? Okay, sure. You can work the curtain match. Falaba is going to beat you both in 28 seconds. Enjoy. Falaba. I can't wait to get to Impact because the new chick with oh,
man.
Yeah, that was unexpected. I don't know who that is, but I was happy about that. Yeah, so I don't buy the cold $1 million contract thing. So I've been watching wrestling for a little while. I remember Debbie Malenko back in my younger days. My late teens, I got into like 80s and 70s for a little while. Not really my thing. But Debbie Malenko was trained by Boris Malenko, and he bequeathed his last name to her. I don't believe they're related. And for a while, like Dean, Debbie, and I forget Dean's brother's name, were the Malenkos. I don't think they ever did any work together because I'm pretty sure Debbie was in All Japan Wrestling for a while. Or, no, not All Japan. What was she in? I can't remember. But she's back at wrestling. She like, this is one of those, this isn't, I know people are going to kind of scoff at this, but this is like an Edge situation right here. She's 49. She's been gone from wrestling for 20 odd years. And she's coming back to be part of this NWA Empowerrr show. So I think that's pretty damn interesting. Marcus, we also found out that, is it Kayla Hirsch? Layla Hirsch, one of those was right, is taking on Camille for the NWA Women's Championship. I didn't realize Layla Hirsch was like 4'9". That was interesting. We also found out that Tootie Lynn, that's not a great name, Jamie Senegal, Lady Frost, and Chelsea Green have also been added to a battle royal of sorts. On top of the fact that Mickie James, Chelsea Green, Deanna Purrazzo, and Melina will also be on the show. I think Kylie Rae's also booked for the show as well. This doesn't sound terrible as an event. I know it doesn't have Rowdy Ronda Rousey. But, like, all right, this isn't bad. Are you interested in seeing this NWA Empowerrr show? Brought to you by Busch Light?
Yeah, honestly, more so than that regular show because a certain...
Yes. There's a reason why he wasn't booked for the conversation tonight, because you and I are both going to just say, fuck him. I'm trying not to swear, Mark. You made me swear.
There it is. You hit it right on the money, man. Yeah, I'm far more interested because, again, we've talked about they have to, rebuild and get some names in there. You got names like Melina, Deanna's coming in. That's bringing in your star power. We know Melina is a legend. Also, Deanna has all the momentum in the world right now. Camille's she's put the division on her back because she's really been the only thing in it, consistently anyway. And like you said, her opponent may be come off miniature, but that could be a hell of a fight, kind of David versus Goliath, the female version of that, in a way.
To be fair, I think we would come off as miniature compared to Camille.
Fair. But yeah, you build up some of these no names and stuff, and kind of make it a maybe an undersold over deliver situation,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely for, like I said, I'm more interested in this than the regular show.
So Layla Hirsch is 4'11", to be clear.
Mm.
And seeing her in some of these photos that I just Googled, I don't mind. Oh, and here's a photo of her kicking Britt Baker in the face. My new wallpaper. I appreciate it. I appreciate her. I have seen a few of her matches on AEW, and I do like Layla because she has an amateur wrestling background, or at least the appearance of one, and it works. And I think she's fantastic. So, it could be a fun show. And like the thing is, like I like dumb wrestling shows. All In was one of my favorite shows, not because it was like a big, monumental presentation or anything like that, but it was a dumb wrestling show. There was a terrible show from like 2011 called like AWE Night of Legends or something like that. I watched that shit like 4 or 5 times. Like Tommy Dreamer was in it. I think he was in a match with like, I think he tagged with Terry Funk actually. Or wrestled Terry Funk actually. Who was it? Jamin Olivencia. There's a name that people haven't been saying in a while. He was on the show. C.W. Anderson was there. Like it wasn't a great show, but I loved it because it's a spectacle show. Like you're not gonna see it again. I loved it. So yeah, I'll probably check out Empowerrr. Doesn't hurt that the where's my train of thought? It doesn't hurt that some of the matches are really intriguing. Like, I don't think Melina and Deonna Purrazzo are going to have a good match. Like, with all due respect to Melina, she's never been a great worker. And now she's 40. And what? We believe that she's going to be able to hang with Deonna Purrazzo? Like, I don't know. I don't see it being a match that that's going to be last. I don't know who's going to go last, but like I don't think it's going to be them. But yeah, what are you going to do? Last up on this show, we got to talk about Max Caster. He said some things on a show for AEW. I forget what show, and I don't care enough to actually go and look it up.
It was dark.
Marcus, you can't say that. That's racist.
No, literally, it was AEW dark.
Let's see. Let's see if we can bring up the rap lyrics.
Yeah, I got it right. Yeah, I got it right here.
All right, let's see. Can you send me those?
Yeah.
Because one of them was the one that I was bewildered by. Oh, he has a band camp. Did you know that?
He didn't before. I'm pretty sure he does now after that. After this momentum he's picked up.
The one thing I will say about the rap community that I really do admire is they've become very counterculture at times, which as a former, well, not former, but as a fan of the punk music industry way back in the day, that was something that really appealed to me. So I will say, like, I appreciate the fact that they're still kind of like, hey, we're going to do what we're going to do, and I appreciate that. You always got to have someone pushing boundaries, even if I don't want to listen to it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, the whole thing about rap and hip hop is that it basically was founded in the concept of counterculture.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So Caster's lyrics aren't as bad as things as I've heard before, right? But it's not like I'm not sitting here going, yeah, these are great lyrics, and I'm not sitting here going, yeah, I need to listen to it. It's like this is not Biz Markie over here. Rip.
Yeah.
So here's the lyrics. Listen, the Acclaimed kicked ass for miles, making you claim mental health like Simone Biles. The Seidels is going to pay the cost. I'm going to treat those bitches like Duke Lacrosse. The blondes say that they're the best, but those dudes are faker than a PCR test. And that's what I smell here in North Carolina. Oh, wait, that's Julia's. I don't know who Julia is, and I don't know what rhymes with Carolina.
Yeah, he was going for vagina, but
yeah, okay. Who's Julia though?
Either the chick that was on the side of the ring, that may have been partaking in the match or somebody else, but yeah.
Is that the blonde's cheerleader chick?
It might be.
Let's see.
Again, forgive us, people. We don't really keep up with a lot of dark happenings.
Marcus, racist.
AEW
Fair.
secondary show, AEW Dark going on.
Fair. So yes,
Be
it's
more-
Julia Hart. She's the cheerleader for the Varsity Blondes. So the line that I think was profoundly stupid, like the Simone Biles stuff, I think is a conversation-worthy topic. I don't have a horse in that race. Like, the thing is, I think the whole thing's a lie, mostly because of how it started with her being quote unquote out due to an injury. If she just said, "I got the twisties," it's when your brain gets all messed up because you're doing too many twisties. I'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense." But it was twisties, and it was mental health, and no, it was the injuries, then mental health, and twisties. It's like, whoa, man, are you a politician? Because you keep changing the rules. So like it's a conversation. Whether it's the twisties or an injury or whatever, it's fine. Like she's a 23-year-old young lady, probably in her last Olympics because gymnasts don't have a long shelf life. And like fine, you know, she's got to do what's best for her. That's cool. Like, but I think it's a fair topic. You know, like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, okay. The PCR is the COVID test, and I don't know, Max. It just kind of seems stupid saying that, but fair enough. The one that really got me was the Duke Lacrosse conversation because that ruined so many lives because of just terrible reporting. Marcus, are you familiar with the Duke Lacrosse case?
Yeah, and ironically enough, Biles was one of his victims, correct?
No. Duke Lacrosse was from like 2007, I think, or 2006. And basically it was a situation where 3 white lacrosse players were accused of raping a black stripper, and everyone like published their names, where they lived. They're like, these guys are rapists. But literally, like, they all found out through a years-long investigation or something like that all 3 boys or young men were actually innocent because like one of the guys that was accused was at an ATM. Another one was in a room on like a different piece of property several miles away with like 20 eyewitnesses. So like it all fell apart, and I think like Rolling Stone had to apologize, and like people got fired over it. I think the ADA of I don't know what county Duke is in Carolina, but like the ADA of the county got fired. Like it was a whole fucking travesty, and a lot of people ended up getting their name ruined. And it's not something to make light of. Like it hurt victims of rape from being able to come forward and say, I was attacked because this woman lied. And it hurt a bunch of dudes' entire reputations and their athletic and academic careers because they were falsely accused because the presumption was they were all rich. And I think only 2 of them were there on scholarships and were quite poor, actually. So it was one of those things where it's like, that's like a really stupid thing to go in on. Like, Max, if you know about the case, then why are you even bringing it up?
Yeah, and thanks for correcting me on that Biles thing, because I think I was trying to I got that confused with
Larry Nassar, who was I think like Michigan State and Ohio State.
Yeah, I think somebody said brought that up recently because all this stuff with her came up.
Yes.
And they were trying to go through just a history of stuff that she's been through, but so many people have said so many stupid stuff over this past Olympics. But back to this. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because if you go back and watch the clip, because I found the clip, the minute he said that, even Seidel, whose whole thing is about having a third eye and keeping, a peaceful nature, New Japan fans would call it tranquilo. He was in the ring like, wait, whoa, what? Like he couldn't even, and even the girl that was the cheerleader for the Varsity Blondes, like they just panned the people by ringside and just in and out the ring, and everybody looked like just disgusted.
Yeah, it was a cringe moment.
And it's just like it ironically enough, talking about AEW, that takes me back to who was that goof at ringside on commentary that was making
oh yeah,
the young lady.
Yeah, the Hispanic broadcaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a former WWE announcer. Oh God, we suck at our jobs. Let's see. AW announcer. Willie Arena. Hang on. His last name is Urbina, but I just looked up and yeah, Willie Arena, former WWE Spanish broadcaster. He was the one that was insulting Hikaru Shida with his accent, and I think he was doing the eye thing. I think, but it wasn't shown on camera, so he got fired for it. Here's the thing: don't say dumb shit about people, and you'll be fine. Like you don't need to go in on racism, Willie. Not cool. You don't need to make light of a traumatic situation involving rape and accusations. Like you can be a heel other ways, man. Like you don't need to go there. Like we all know it's part of the show now. Like this isn't the 70s, and I hate people that say that. Well, in the 70s, yeah, the 70s, fucking big old fucking issue with that statement.
Look, yeah. I mean, you just know it's sexual assault right now. Definitely, it's mental health. You know, anything with COVID, really, because it's just all those things hit everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, cancer. You know, who's making cancer jokes? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just because you can't, just square that off at a subsect of people. Those things are affecting and have affected everybody. So if you can't, you can find better stuff to say. You just don't want to. You know, because you want to get the of it all. You know, but can you handle the backlash that come with it? Because you're with a company that can't. I mean, we could talk about the Cody stuff of it all day, but they can't really afford to take bad PR, specifically when they're trying to be the company that's looked upon as the usurper of WWE right now. You know,
gotta love Cody was so fucking blind to everything. He once told his black girlfriend, "I don't see race, or I don't see color." Cody, you fucking stupid. Hey, Marcus, I don't... What? Sorry, what? I'm not going to Cody the show. I refuse. Although, if codying the show got me Brandy Rhodes, I'll Cody the show. Don't deny I will. I will. She a pretty lady, and I appreciate pretty ladies. But I digress. Just don't think about it. Like not Adrian Adonis, Gorgeous George, not the hot blonde from the '90s and early 2000s. The original Gorgeous George. He got heat by just being prissy. He did his hair. Granted, it was like the 50s and 60s, so if a dude had like a pompadour kind of look, in his hair, like that was enough to get a heel reaction. He thought he was better than other people. That's all it took. Because people actually believed that it was a shoot. Nowadays, we're in on it. Like, think about Orange Cassidy. We're all in on the joke with Orange Cassidy. All you have to do is have a heel who comes out claiming that pineapple pizza is the only thing in this world that has any merit, and he can get over as a heel with the right audience. Like, you don't need to go full douchebag. Because it just shows people what you're willing to do to be famous. And it turns us off. Now, granted, some people are going to be like, well, what about... Listen, if you're about to say what about and then bring up someone, you're not going to find anyone here going, okay, yeah, but... No, we're going to agree with you. Yeah, Randy Orton sucks. Yeah, he shouldn't have said, Eddie's in hell. Like, that was fucking terrible. And that's the least offensive thing Randy Orton's ever done. So, we're pretty consistent with our morality. And I like that about us. I do.
Yeah, me too, man. And then don't come up with us with the freedom of speech and all that. Yeah, we know you can say anything. But
freedom of speech only protects you from prosecution from the government. It does not protect you from getting fired, yelled at, penalized, or ostracized. I don't condone violence for people who say things like, even the most egregious of things, like, because if you hit someone because they say something, all that says is that. Let me rephrase that. If you hit someone because of what they say, that says everything about you and not about them. That doesn't mean they're right. It just means that there's a line to what should be said and how one should react. The only time I condone violence to words is when it's an actual threat. Like if you go, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Oh, like for realsies? Yeah, I'm gonna snuff you out of this existence. Like really, you're gonna try to kill me? Yes. Oh. Well, all right then. Hang on. Let me shoot you first. I'm not gonna get killed today. I have to return a movie to Redbox.
Hey man, you take your behind directly in the street. I'm gonna get my car. You stay there.
Don't go in the center lane. That's for left turns only. And I'm not making a left turn. Going straight to hell. But like, you know, if you say something dumb, people are gonna come for you. Now, you know, I remember, I don't know if you remember this, like 2 or 3 years ago, JJ Redick did like a video for Chinese New Year. Do you remember this?
No.
He was trying to say something, and he does what I do sometimes, where I kind of get mush mouth. Granted, I think I was kicked by a horse when I was 2. I don't know. Would explain so many things. But like he kind of fumbled at his words, and like it sounded like he said a slur for Chinese people, but he didn't intend to. And everyone's like, oh, he's such a racist. I'm like, no, that was an accident. It was clearly an accident. He clearly just mungled some words together. I do it all the time. But everyone like came for him. But JJ's like, I'm not a racist though. And everyone knows that. So it was quickly forgotten. But when you deliberately do something, it's harder to say it was an accident. So like, you know, if you fuck up, like we'll give you a pass if you apologize. But if it's a reoccurring trend, looking at Sammy Guevara.
Thank you. I was just gonna bring that up.
If it's a reoccurring trend, we won't forget so easily. It's one thing to be Liam Neeson and be like, listen, dude, when I was young, I was fucked. I thought some damn dumb things. My bad. It's another thing to be this dude from Barstool Sports where he's like calling Colin Kaepernick a terrorist because of his skin color. This is an old thing. I want to be very clear, Marcus. This was like an old thing from like 2017.
Yeah.
But he did it. It happened. It's a video. I retweeted it on my Twitter account. Like he did it. I retweeted it now because MLB is trying to work out a deal with them to broadcast games with them. And I'm just like, no. What are you doing, Rob Manfred, you twat? I will not stop saying twat or cunt. In my quest for civility and cleaning up my language, twat, cunt, and dick will remain in my lexicon. I swear to you. I can't not do it. It's so satisfying to say, you twat. I'm a dumbass, I know. But anyway, you know, I don't want to throw Max Caster into the fire. I'm sure he's a decent lad. You know, he's tag team partnered with Anthony Bowens, who I'm pretty sure is biracial and bisexual, or even just gay. Like, that's cool. I dig that. I dig that Caster is hopefully good friends with Bowens. Because I want to be good friends with Anthony Bowens. He's a 5-tool player. And this is why I get mad at AEW, because you have, like, Bowens, you got fucking Powerhouse. Like, even Darby Allin should be a lot higher. Although, he's working with Sting, so it's like, all right, fair enough. That's pretty high.
Like, you know what, you peaked. You peaked, kid.
You know, you did an autograph signing with Sting, and you worked, you know, WrestleMania against, you know, John Cena, Hulk Hogan, and the Ghost Andre Giant. What was the bigger moment for you? It was obviously doing an autograph signing with Sting, obviously.
And I'm just sitting up there like, hey, could you ask him how was it to death drop Chuck Norris?
Did that happen? I need to look that up if that happened.
Yeah, that's an episode. He played. Sting was the leader of this biker gang that was also dealing in drugs. And in the episode, him and Norris had a fight, and he freaking got off the death drop. And every time it comes on, I pop like it's the first time, because it's like, holy hell, these are two pop culture icons going at it. And Sting can always pop anytime a wrestler's in anything and get a move off.
That's fantastic. So yeah, Reddit right here. Remember the time Sting fought Chuck Norris and Walker, Texas Ranger? And there's even a video. What? First comment, that time Walker didn't sell the Scorpion Death Drop? Oh, the video got taken down. Damn it! I'm gonna have to search for this now. This is my new goal in life. It was curing diseases, but like no, this is now my only goal in life. To see Sting drop Chuck Norris. That's a great thing. All right, I think that was it for the last of the Wrestling Underground. So we're gonna do our little outro. Then we're gonna hop to Making an Impact. Don't go anywhere. We're not done. So realnerdcorp.com, REALNERDCORP.com. I don't know who we're going with it for the WCW for this week, but we're gonna have a new one. I completely forgot to do that last week. Twitter is NERDCORP. Marcus mentioned the True Penny Show. You can find them on Twitter at the True Penny Show, but the Twitter handle is True Penny Show. TRUEPENNYSHOW. Go listen to them. They're better than us in every single way because they have Marcus. And without Marcus, it's just me. And even I don't want to listen to myself that much. You can find Marcus on his personal, though. It's Paradox Kid. PARADOXKID.
That's me.
You can also find me on Twitter at Chad Nerdcorp, CHADNERDCRP, and on the Instagram at Chad's Photo at CHADSPHOTOHUT. We're going over to Making an Impact, but until then, Marcus, take us home.
Good night.